Welcome, everyone. It's Bariatric Registered Dietitian Services, and I'm Susan Peacock, and I'm talking to Laura Pincus today, and she is a patient of mine. We're going to learn a lot of information. These interview sessions are with healthcare workers, patients, anybody that's integral in your decision to make bariatric surgery or to have bariatric surgery. So let's get started. Welcome, Laura. Thank you so much for allowing us to get information from you. I know the viewers are excited to hear about your journey. And how long ago did you have your surgery, Laura?
It is almost 4 months.
Okay. And how is your weight loss?
I have lost almost 70 pounds. I feel terrific. I went from approximately a size 20 to about a 12. And in shirts, a 2XL to a large, maybe a medium. So yeah, I'm doing great.
And I know you're walking a lot. We talked about that. How much are you walking per day?
So since the surgery, I have so much energy and I need a way to get rid of that energy. So every morning I wake up and I walk. I am up to between 5 and 6 miles in the mornings. And every evening I walk another about 3 miles. So depending on the day, I'm around 8, 9 miles a day.
That's wonderful. Well, walking is definitely an integral part to losing the weight and keeping it off. But let's go back in time and tell us and tell the viewers about your decision-making upon getting bariatric surgery. What went through your mind as far as how long ago did you start your investigation before you actually made the decision? And what parts were involved in making your decision to get bariatric weight loss surgery?
So for me, it was a very emotional decision. Approximately 10 years ago, my mother decided that she thought that weight loss surgery would be something good for me. I'll just say that my mother put me on my first diet. I was 5 years old and in kindergarten. Oh. I had a weight problem my whole life. And my mother was very concerned because her parents had been very sick from being heavy. She was worried about me developing diabetes. She was worrying about me with high cholesterol. She was just worried about me. So she had me go and investigate. And 10 years ago, I went and investigated. And I came back and I said, Mom, it's not for me. You're supposed to have a BMI of 40 or more. And at the time, I did not have that level of a BMI, although I was definitely in the overweight category. I was not obese or morbidly obese as when I finally had the surgery. So in any event, my mother always had me on a diet. Even in my adult life, she'd see me and say, hey, try this diet, try that diet. And I did. I tried pretty much everything. My mother passed away in 2013. And from 2013 to 2019, I did not diet. So lo and behold, yes, I had the BMI that I needed to have the surgery that my mother always thought that I should have.
Okay.
So that's kind of, the emotional part of my weight journey. The sooner in time issue was last June. I took a cruise with a whole group of friends. There were 7 couples that went. 2 of the people that went are success stories for bariatric surgery.
Okay.
And so we just got to talking. One who had the surgery 18 months previous, but I had not seen her. So she was half a person of what she had been.
Oh, my. How much weight did she lose, Laura?
She lost 100 pounds, maybe a little over 100 pounds.
So she was half a person. Wow.
Yeah, she lost half a person.
And what did you see in her that made you so happy for her?
She was healthy. She was happy. She had energy. She looked amazing. And really what struck me is here I was on a cruise with her and she fit in. I guess that would be what she fit in. If she was making food choices, I didn't notice them, and I think that to me was what really struck me. And I think she and my other friend my other friend had the surgery way before I knew her. So I never knew her heavy. And when she showed me a picture of her heavy, I couldn't believe it. But she she had the surgery 10 years or more ago. And so anyway, between the two of them, they painted a very realistic picture for me. They both told me that this is a tool, that this is not a cure, it is a tool, but it definitely makes things easy. They both told me that if you're going to take the time to change your body to the extent that weight loss surgery does, that's going to be your incentive to keep it off.
Right.
And
Well, that's so interesting. Sorry, that you said that phrase, she fit in, meaning she could do what she wanted to do and still be trim and not gain weight.
Correct. And when I say she fit in, we ate meals together. And there was nothing that she did. And when I really thought about it after the cruise, maybe had I paid attention, but I didn't watch everything she ate. We were having a good time, and she was having a good time with everybody else. And
okay. And she wasn't going, oh, I wish I could have eaten this. I wish I didn't have surgery. I wish I could have more of this.
Right.
Okay.
That's
key.
Of course, the rest of us were indulging. We were on a cruise. We were having desserts and the this and the that. And I will tell you that since the surgery, I went on a cruise. And
how did it go? Tell us about it.
It went fine. I went with a girlfriend. It was just the two of us. The only issue that I even had, if you want to call it an issue, is the wait staff kept thinking I didn't like my food, because I just, I was still less than 3 months after surgery. So, and even still now, I don't eat a lot.
So I'm thinking that mostly it's buffet, but they do have restaurants, right?
It was not buffet for me.
Okay. No, so you were leaving portions on your plate.
Yeah. I mean, when you go on a cruise, if you don't order soup and salad and an appetizer and dinner and dessert, they look at you like, what's wrong with you?
Right. Well, they're looking for that tip, or they expect people to overeat.
They do expect people to overeat. And to be honest, their portions, well, I'll say this from when I was a heavy person, their portions are pretty small. But now it's like, there was no.
Uh-oh, I lost you.
Okay. So yeah, when you're on a bariatric diet, you don't have liquids at the same time that you have your meal, even water.
Right.
So things like they might have a vegetable soup, which normally I probably would indulge in. I know it's high in salt, but that would be something that I could have. But I can't have it within 10 minutes of having a piece of grilled chicken because of the timing. So it's things like that. But I managed, and I would cruise again. It didn't restrict me. And I guess that's what struck me about cruising with my two friends, who were both very successful bariatric patients. It didn't bother them to be cruising, and it didn't bother them at all. So I guess after that trip, I was really convinced. That's when I came home and I said to my husband, I really want to do this. And he was so supportive. And I went to Dr. Schillingford's information session. And I left there. Actually, when I left there, I had said to my husband, this really isn't anybody's business what I'm doing. I'm not going to tell anybody. I started out by telling a very close friend of mine, who I might just say she is a fitness partner and a diet partner of mine. My whole life, we've done everything from Zumba to jazzercise to walking to whatever. And we've always tried diets together. And of course, none of them were ever successful. And when I said to her, I think I'm going to have this surgery, she's like, oh, no, don't. Mm-hmm. And she was the first friend I told. So after that, I was
why was she against it, Laura?
She just thought that it was drastic. And she thought that, she's a Weight Watcher. She thought that Weight Watchers would do it. Now, I'll tell you, now after the fact, she is one of my most supportive friends. But her initial reaction
as well. Is she getting the surgery as well? No.
She's not.
She lost weight from the previous diets that you both were.
I mean, we lose weight and she gains weight, but
okay,
to each his own. And
to clarify there, but I also want to just add in about the cruise, and to everybody listening, your life will not be the same, because you will have so much energy, you'll be happier, you'll be more joyful. You will eat less, but you can participate in anything, the weddings, the bas mitzvahs, the cruises, the vacations.
Yes.
No matter what, you're going to eat normal, quality food over quantity and be happy about it.
Not only be happy about it, but I have to say one of the greatest things that I have found from the weight loss surgery, I am not hungry.
All right.
So that's one of the things that Dr. Schillingford said, was that when he does the sleeve, he takes out 80% of your stomach, and part of taking out that 80% is your hunger hormone. Now,
the ghrelin.
Now I know that I have other people in our support group that say they are hungry and that they've never lost that hunger. To me, I think that is psychological as opposed to physical. I'm not them though, so I don't know. But to me, the psychological piece that the doctor told me I cannot be hungry, I have married that thought. That thought is so ingrained with me.
Excellent.
The problem that I have, if I don't set an alarm, I forget to eat a meal.
Okay.
And I have forgotten lunch, and all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and I'm like, oh, I should start making dinner. Oh my God, I didn't eat lunch. So
Right.
I live by a clock, and I think that's the most remarkable difference.
Excellent.
And then when it's time to eat and I'm sitting and thinking, what should I have? My head doesn't tell me based on my stomach. In other words, I don't have a craving. I don't feel like one thing or the other. So
Okay.
I make what I feel like making. I try a variety, but if I feel more like making for lunch tuna fish as opposed to a piece of chicken breast, that's what I go with, as opposed to, boy, I'm really dying to eat a chicken breast today.
Right. Now, let me just comment on setting a time. It shows that the people who've had the bariatric surgery and are successful, like you are, that they do eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They don't go more than 3 to 4 hours, which is so important. So setting your alarm, but also food prep and having food available so that when you're hungry, you have what you need. And are you doing that, Laura? Food prep?
I don't do as much food prep as I should. I've never been a leftovers eater.
Okay.
I am much more of a leftovers eater now than I ever was, just based on necessity. I can make a 3-ounce filet mignon on the barbecue, and I can eat about half of it. So the other half I'm not going to throw out. I do put it in the refrigerator, and the next day I have something to go to. But I've seen a lot of people online and on blogs that I'm on that actually on Sundays will prepare for the week, and they'll actually have containers and they'll do a lot of that food prep. That's just not something that I have done. Some of the things that I did, I bought a mini refrigerator and a microwave for my office. So when I was going into the office, I had actually what I needed in the fridge all week long. I always had what I needed, so I didn't feel like I needed to go out to restaurants like I used to. And it was able to, fill my need. I also didn't have to go use a community microwave where something else might look tempting to me, or, I'd feel bad that I couldn't have. I had what I needed in my office, so.
And it's been 3 months, correct, Laura?
It's been almost 5 months.
Almost 5 months. So you're back to regular consistency, eating normal food and just smaller amounts. Do you eat carbs, fats, and proteins now?
Okay, so it's always protein first. And
Good.
I'm married to that rule too.
Good.
So, typical lunch is either tuna or a piece of grilled chicken that I'll grill just in time for lunch. I bought a rotisserie chicken the other day, so I've been making some chicken salad. So I always have my protein dinners, either chicken or steak or a burger, your main proteins. When I sit with a plate, I usually also put on the plate either broccoli or string beans or cauliflower. But when I can take 1 or 2 bites of that because I'm concentrating on the protein. I don't eat a lot. And then the only carb that I somehow am comfortable with, and this is just a me thing, I guess, from the beginning, when you were having soft foods, one of the soft foods that tended to be on every recommended list was mashed potatoes. So to me, if I have a little potato, that's my carb. And I either roast a potato or I'll have a little piece of baked potato, or I'm not a sweet potato person, so it's the white, which I know is not as good a carb, but that's the extent of my carbs. And when I say I have it, it's again, 2 or 3 bites. Good. Along with the vegetable.
I was going to ask you the quantity you were having. That's good. 2 or 3 bites is maybe what, 2 tablespoons?
2 tiny roasted potatoes or 1 long one.
Okay, so that's your carb for the interview, for the viewers. That is your carbohydrate, and you can have your carb post-surgery, but as Laura said, she's eating her protein first, and we want that carb last, and we want it small amounts. Because you do need carbohydrate for energy. So balancing your macronutrients, which are carb, fat, and protein, is what's important post-surgery. Right. And when you went on that cruise, back to the cruise, Laura, how did you feel going to the cruise lighter without the weight that you had in the previous cruise?
Oh, for 3 weeks before I was shopping for bathing suits, I loved the way I felt. I don't know back then. I don't think I loved the way I looked yet. I'm now noticing the big change in the way that I look. But at the time, I don't know that I felt that way, but I definitely felt healthy. I felt energized. I have to tell you that I was traveling with a girlfriend of mine who has knee problems and back problems. So I took it upon myself. I brought my workout clothes. I went every single day. I was walking the track. I was making sure I still got all my steps in. Even at night, if I didn't see I had the amount of steps I wanted, I took a walk just around the ship. Even when it was raining or chilly, I was inside the ship getting in those steps. So I took that part upon myself to make sure that I did it.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you were religious. You were committed. That's good.
Yes.
That's what it takes, right? Yeah. That's wonderful. And so now you're shopping for bathing suits when normally you wouldn't even think about getting in one.
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And now you get to shop for a smaller size. So what did we do with all those old clothes?
So I had my surgery in December. I took 5 weeks off of work. And so when I went to go back to work, I was a little over a month post-surgery. And I already noticed that nothing in my closet was fitting. So I actually had a shopping spree in January to go back to work.
Good.
Food shopping trips ago, I threw all that stuff out.
Yeah. So, but how does that feel going into the store and going to the smaller sizes?
Oh, it's not just going into a store and going to the smaller sizes. It's going into stores I've never been able to shop in my life. I do not remember, that's not true. I remember going to college and being a size 10, thinking that I was very heavy, having my mother tell me I was very heavy, but I know I was a size 10 because I was stealing my mother's clothes. And I was taking her clothes. By the time I graduated college, I was no longer wearing her clothes at all. Okay. So, and that's my last memory of being able to shop with regular clothes. After that, I definitely went into a plus size. Now I am able to walk into a store, and actually now, of course, we're all closed down. So I've been doing all my shopping online. And it's amazing because I said, okay, well, I'm just going to go and order these shirts in larges because extra large are just not seeming like they're small enough at this point. And when you're a medium, you could still wear a large. So I'm just going to go ahead and get larges, and figured they wouldn't fit me yet, but I'd have to grow into them. And of course, as they came in, all the larges fit me. My pants, everything fits me, and I'm able to order online and have it come, and it's just really exciting every time I get it.
That's nice. And I wanted to also discuss to the viewers that Laura has lupus. And I'm wondering, has that gotten better or changes in your medication or anything different from the weight loss?
So lupus is a autoimmune disease that everybody impacts something different. So with me, my organ that was impacted were my kidneys. However, I have partial kidney loss, but not to the extent that we caught it soon enough that I'm on medication for it. That's a medication I'm actually going to be on for my whole life. But the other way that lupus impacts me is my joints. So my feet were getting swollen. My hands were hurting, my knees were hurting, and I'll tell you the biggest thing, I was falling. I was afraid to walk.
Oh, wow.
Without literally holding on to my husband or holding on to something, because I was always falling. I fell in the shower. I fell getting off a roller coaster one day. I fell in the neighborhood. I would just fall. So I was very nervous about that. And I think part of it was my knees going out, and part of it was I was just heavy and clumsy. And I've not fallen, nor am I afraid to fall. I have all new walking shoes that I walk in. So I think that's probably the way that the lupus impacted me the most, that has been changed. I'm not in pain anymore. I'm also, I was diabetic until I was in the hospital. In the hospital, when I first got there, they did have to give me insulin because of my sugar level. By the time I was leaving the hospital, no insulin, my sugar level was normal, and it's been normal since.
Great. And your kidney function with the new lab work, since you've lost the weight, has that gotten?
Everything looked perfect in my last blood work.
Okay. So things have gotten
perfect,
much,
and all my vitamin levels are perfect too. So
wonderful.
yeah, everything. And my endocrinologist dismissed me, but I'm still being followed by my nephrologist. And he's the one that did the last blood work, and everything does look good.
Yeah, keep an eye on it. And are you taking your vitamins and minerals?
I am. So I take my multivitamin, I take a vitamin D, I take a calcium.
Oops, we lost you. Hold on. The minerals. You're taking all your supplements?
Yes. So I take a multivitamin every day. I take a vitamin D. I take a calcium. Those are 2 separate pills. And I take a B12. I have a shot every month. You have a choice of using a misting spray or a shot. I chose the shot.
Good.
So yeah, I take my vitamins loyally. And I used to be on 7 different pills for my health, between cholesterol and diabetes. And I'm only on 1 medication now for my health. And everything else is just vitamins and supplements that are recommended by Dr. Shillingford.
That's wonderful. And that's true as far as this COVID goes as well, the comorbidities, you're more susceptible to getting it, but you also relieve a lot of the comorbidities with weight loss because the body just does not like the excess weight. And you've proven that. That's wonderful. And how do other people treat you differently if they do, since your weight loss, Laura?
So it's a little bit different because I'm stuck at home and have been through since March. So when the bulk of my weight has shown, no one sees it. When I do see somebody, they definitely now have been noticing a lot. The nail salon reopened, so I went to have my nails done, and the tech barely noticed me when I first walked in, and she's like, "Oh my God, you've lost a ton of weight." So people are noticing when they see me, but I'm not out a whole lot now.
Okay. And how is it with your husband? What does he say?
So my husband is extremely supportive and has been from the very beginning. So are my children. And I started saying earlier about the one friend that was not supportive. I originally was not going to tell anybody. And then I decided that, no, I am going to tell everybody. The reason I'm going to tell everybody is because I want as much support as I can. And if people don't want to support me or think that I did something crazy or took the easy way out or something, then that's their ignorance, you know. But for the
Right.
most part, I am shocked, just shocked at how supportive everybody has been. I told people at my office and everyone who I work with, I told all of my friends, all of my family. So everybody knows. And actually what I do get, if I post a picture on social media, which I've done before and after pictures on social media, the reaction is just unbelievable. There was a day when I took a walk. I opened my door in the morning to take my daily walk, and it was raining out. So I grabbed an umbrella. My friend and I walked anyway. And when I came back, it was barely raining. It was drizzly at the time. And I called my husband and I said, can you just come outside and take a picture of me? Because I just felt cute. I just felt cute, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah, with your umbrella and your little
my
shirt,
workout clothes at the end of a walk. And I posted that picture and I got so many positive comments. So that's how I am. I guess that's how I'm being received now. Like if I post something on Facebook and then afterwards, everybody to now, all my Facebook friends, if I talk to them, they're like, by the way, you look amazing.
Okay, great.
So,
And it's nice to have that support and continuous support. Yep. Any jealousy? Anybody jealous where they poo-poo?
no,
No.
I've not gotten
Or
any.
they haven't said anything if they are.
Correct. No, absolutely no
And
jealousy.
sometimes we get that from our closest friends because they are close and they see how wonderful you look and how much energy and how everybody is rallying around this positive thing of losing weight. And there is some envy there. But like you said, that's their issue. And you mentioned something interesting. You said that people sometimes who don't know think it's an easy way out. But tell us why you say to yourself, there is no easy way out with bariatric surgery.
Okay, so the bariatric surgery is a tool. So and I'm still only 5 months in, you know, so I guess ask me again after another 5 years. Right now, this has been the easiest thing I've done. So for somebody that says you took the easy way out, I might turn around and say, yeah, for $10,000, I took the easy way out. Okay. Yes. And somebody who's looking for an easy way out, yeah, I mean, so far it's been that way. However, I'm also realistic to know that I still have a lot of work to do going forward. The taking it off when you have no appetite and, you know, part of the time you're on a liquid diet, part of the time you're eating, you know, baby food consistency and, you know, you're not hungry and, you know, your stomach is small and, you know, now it's the easy time. And I know that it's the first year, the first 6 months to a year, that's the easy part. And then as the stomach starts to get a little bit bigger, one of the things that has stuck with me with Dr. Schillingford is you still have to feed your stomach, whether it's smaller or bigger, with the right stuff. And the reason for the protein is because if you don't have protein, you don't have energy. So I am the sign of energy now. I have so much energy and it comes from that protein.
Right. And what did you learn about food in general that helped you lose the weight and stay on track with the bariatric post-surgery diet?
So I think that the protein first is big. I've been on so many diets and I don't know that that was ever said to me. I don't know that protein first was ever said to me. In fact, I was a big salad eater, big salad eater. And now because salad is not the protein, and oh yes, you could put protein on salad, but that's not the point.
Right.
You know,
right.
The salad itself is just wasted chewing, I guess.
Well, you don't get the nutrients because it is low calorie. Correct. Right. And you want to watch that protein and get as much what you need, but your need for protein is diminished as you lose weight because it's based on your weight. So you want to maintain your balance of carb, protein, and fat. But it sounds like you're doing that. And from our discussions and having you as a patient, you have transferred through the phases, pre-op, post-op, puree, liquid, to a regular diet, and you're eating balanced now. So the protein first is good still because it's 5 months out. Yes. And the walking, walking, walking. How about going to the gym? Are we going to build some muscle?
So that's next. That is, what I need to start doing. I definitely have the leg muscles, and we've talked about those days when, like I said, I weigh myself every day. It's excessive. I should weigh myself once a week. I only track it once a week, but I do weigh myself every day.
Okay,
I
that's
actually
okay.
notice where I'll lose a pound and then gain 0.2 back. And we talked about how a cell may hold fat, and when it loses the fat, now it's going to hold water, and water may weigh more. So, like I said, I'm a source for so much information now, so that I understand what's going on with my body, and I follow that. I tend to be very, very literal with Dr. Schillingford's diet. And I think that's really important. He tells you when to add things and when not to add things. And yes, I've gone through the phases, and I've gone through them exactly the way it's written that you do it. I'm on a lot of different blogs, and I see other bariatric patients who may weigh in. I had a pizza last night, and I think, oh my God, like I couldn't. I couldn't.
Right. And it's not that you never can have a piece of pizza, but you will only have one or a half. Okay.
Correct.
But you'll also know that it's very high in fat and high in carb. So you don't want to do something like that every day. Whereas, like you said, you do need some vegetables. So have your protein and then have a bite of your salad. But I also don't want you to be thinking about it as a diet like Weight Watchers or something you go on and go off. You are at your new lifestyle, Laura. And to maintain that, and be happy with that, and not say, oh, I can't wait to eat. You can eat anything. I always say, you just can't eat all of anything.
Right.
A bite here and a bite there. Okay, we're going to wrap it up, and I'd love to hear your closing thought about what you'd like to tell our viewers about making that decision for bariatric surgery weight loss if they're on the fence.
So to me, it was the absolute best decision I could make, and I have no regrets. I also have not talked to anybody, either online or friends who have done this. I've not talked to anybody who has a regret about doing it. It's a journey. It's an amazing journey. And there's so much support out there for people who are going through the surgery. Reach out for it. But I wouldn't be on the fence anymore. If you're on the fence, take the leap. You will not regret it. And the sooner, the better.
And what steps would you offer to people if they are on the fence, as far as watching videos like this, perusing the internet, talking to surgeons? What would you say to them to get information?
Right. So one of the things that I immediately...
Uh-oh. 3.
So I'm sorry, ask the question again.
About what you would suggest for people to do as far as finding out information, so that they don't feel like, I don't know about this, I don't know about this, I won't make a decision. You know how humans are. They'd rather not make the decision and procrastinate than dig in. And where would you send them? What would you suggest they do?
So there are a lot of blogs out there and a lot of information. A lot of the information is accurate, good information, but you have to sift through, because there's also a lot of negative information. So I would rely on doctors' websites like Dr. Schillingford, and there's a lot of information that's out to the public there. Definitely talk to a bariatric surgeon in their office if it's something you're interested in. They all have information sessions that are extremely helpful. There's also some blogs that I became a part of. For example, my surgery was in December 2019, and there's a blog of everybody that had a gastric sleeve in December 2019. So we're all living through it together. And that's a very helpful one. There's also a blog that I'm a part of that is from the hospital that I use. So basically it's 2 doctors at that hospital and their patients who are part of that blog. And I think that those are very helpful.
Yes, that's good. That's good advice. And I want to just say to the viewers, many times you'll get negative feedback, which some people have difficulty, but you never know whether they are compliant, okay? Because again, it is not an easy street. You get the surgery and there are big changes. So sometimes when people aren't compliant and they don't change, they don't get the right result. And they may put that on the internet, and there's a reason for it. So just watch yourself. And as Laura says, look at different views, blogs, websites, surgeons, and then you'll get a blended view and a blended opinion. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, Laura, and the viewers. And please check the other interviews out on Bariatric Registered Dietitian Services.com. I'm Susan Peacock, and we'll see you soon with a new interview. Stay well. Take care.